Hello, this is Lucretia with the Calm and Confident You podcast. Today, for the first time ever, I am interviewing a guest on the podcast. So I'm moving into new territory here. The person that I'm interviewing is the person that I share my office with, and we kind of complement each other. She uses the office during the daytime. I use it in the evenings. So let me introduce to you Laura Moog, who is a massage therapist. Hello, Laura. Thank you for joining my podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to do this.
I'm glad you are willing to be my first guest and to try it all out with me. Could you tell people kind of what your exact title is?
Sure. Technically, in the state of Idaho, I am a licensed massage therapist.
I'd like people to kind of get to know you a little bit before we talk business. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, such as, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in a farming town in central Montana and lived the small town farm lifestyle, and actually ended up getting a finance degree in college and started out my career that way, working.
Oh, wow, that's completely different.
Working in the business world.
That's a different thing. Were there any clues along the way that you were thinking massage therapy, or were you thinking business?
Well, I've always been the type of person that is always there to help people. Always been that way. And I believe that that's probably the biggest thing why I didn't enjoy the business world so much, was because helping people more got me more work, but very rarely got me more pay. So it was just very frustrating. I didn't get a real big opportunity to help individuals and help people. So I think that was why I was mostly frustrated in that world.
So how long were you in the area of business before you kind of went into training to become a massage therapist?
It was about 10 years that I did that. I was in bookkeeping mostly, which is an absolute waste of my degree, really. What I liked, the finance part of it, is I loved the markets and what drove the markets and that sort of thing. But I will explain later how that actually moved me toward how I practice my massage these days.
And then did you quit your job and go to school for massage therapy, or how did that happen?
Well, I like to tell people that I started massage therapy on a dare. I was sitting with a friend having dinner, and I'm sure I was complaining about my current job and the situation I was in. And she just looked at me and said, well, why don't you try massage therapy? And I'm like, the typical thought process that most people think about massage therapists, at least back then was my thought, is I am not a vegetarian. I don't wear big long skirts. I don't, all of the typical, almost 20 years ago, what people thought of massage therapists. And she sat there eating a burger and she said, normal people go to massage school too. I took that as a dare. And I'm not one that will fall back on a dare. But
wow,
the first class that I took, I knew I was in the right place.
What was the training and how long did it take?
I went to school at East West College of the Healing Arts in Portland, Oregon. And it took a year for me to finish the course. Most people would have done it in a year and a quarter, but I was raring to go to get here. And I specialized while I was going to school on the mostly on the Western side of things. So I took deep tissue, trigger point therapy, and then I went to the Eastern side of things and took a Thai massage kind of curriculum. So I have a wide range of
Nice.
schooling from then. But right after I was done with school, I went into cranial sacral therapy training as well. So I go from the dig in there and kind of kill it type of therapy of deep tissue and trigger point to the very much just holding and letting the body heal itself, that it's inherently able to do. Just being able to hold that and just a little bit of pressure here and there. It's just a very, very different technique, but is actually my favorite because it means that I'm not in control, that the person on the table is actually the one that's in control.
That kind of sets you apart from other therapists. It sounds like you kind of have a balance and then more of a specialty in is it cranial sacral? Is that what you said?
Cranial sacral, yes. I've done 2 or 3 classes on specific brain issues. So like if you've had concussions, if you've had kind of brain trauma, there's ways that I can work with inside and around the brain. So we can get some of those areas hopefully opened up to be able to function again. And I've also taken a pregnancy and birthing class. Mm-hmm. So I've been able to help a few women with getting prepared, helping them get through their pregnancies, but also getting prepared for the delivery part. That's been super exciting as well. So I've got kind of this wide range that
I'm sure it is.
I get to work with. So
obviously we're talking a lot about the physical side of health, but is there anything with your practice that helps people with their mental, emotional type health?
Oh, massage itself is so helpful with all of that. First thing, one of the reasons I kind of work with my clients in a certain way, I'm always giving them control of how the massage goes. You know how people have been injured and abused or all those kinds of things. I want my practice to be a place where people can be safe, get used to safe physical touch, be able to feel like they're in control of what happens while they're on the table, the pressure, how they feel, if they need to stop, they're in control of that. And that's huge. So on that side of things, the physical side of things, obviously we work behind desks. We're on our phones all the time. We just, how many ways have we stressed our bodies? And our bodies, I always tell people, this is one of my favorite things I tell people is your body is a culmination of life experience. So if you had something that happened when you were a kid, earlier in your adult life, all of those things are stored in your body, all those injuries. If you haven't had therapies, physical therapy, massage therapy, mental health therapy, those things stay in your body. So what I do is I help remove some of those holding patterns that your body has. I've had so many people come into my office and say, I just bent over to pick up a pencil, or I just stepped off the stair in a normal way. Why all of a sudden did that happen? Why am I here? And it's because that was the final straw of being able to, your body being able to handle one more thing. So it's all incorporated, and our bodies also hold emotions. You've probably heard that or know that in your practice, but the more you can release all the tension in your body, the more you can also be better apt to release those emotions that are trapped in there as well.
Yes. A lot of people do not realize how it's all connected, and get surprised by that information. So, what would you say is your favorite aspect about what you're doing? It sounds like you really like to work with people a little more intimately.
I love asking them every time they come in, what are we working on today? Everything, it doesn't matter what we did last time. This time might be completely different because either you did something else to yourself, or we were able to get your body to release something, and then it moves to the next thing that your body's storing. So this is where my analytical side comes in. I get to work with each individual person, and we're all not the same. We haven't had those same experiences. So I get to use that analytical mind. And if something's not releasing, then I'm figuring out in my brain the whole time, okay, why isn't that releasing? Where do we need to work in order for that to release? Or is this something that they're storing and they're not ready? Their body's not ready. And that's okay.
Yep.
That's the whole part of healing. Yes, we're really trying to help you be able to move forward. And that's what it's all about. So everybody's different.
The body and the person has to be ready.
Exactly. And I think that holding that space for someone is such an honor. And, to have somebody come and trust you.
Yes.
And, massage is a more intimate place to be. And for someone to trust me with that, I can't explain what that feels like. I have people that come into my office, and I have people that are fully clothed because they're either not comfortable in their own body, or they're not comfortable being touched, and this is their first try. To someone just jumps on the table. No problem. I mean, obviously I'm out of the room when they do that.
Hopefully. You want them under the sheet before you come in.
Yes. I require, people to be covered, clothed, whatever happens to be while I'm in the room. So,
what would you say is one of the more difficult aspects of what you do for you?
I think sometimes not being able to help someone in the whole and complete way. There's so many layers of what's in people's bodies. That's why I enjoy having connection with people in other areas, because I can only do so much. Sometimes that's frustrating because I'd really like everyone to leave the office just rip raring to go. So that's a little bit frustrating for me. Obviously there's a physical aspect, but people always ask if I hurt by the end of the day, and usually it's my brain that hurts, because I'm using that
interesting.
That more during the day. That's again that analytical side that I got.
Wow.
From that.
That's not what people expect.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I'm empathic as well. So I've had to learn to put those boundaries up, because I went, especially when I first was in and they warned us about this, I would take stuff on.
What do you do for your own self-care?
Oh, well, I get my own massage, obviously.
Really?
I love getting massage. Yes, I do. Chiropractic care, very often. I also I've been playing with, as I've aged, my exercise routine, trying to figure out how to make all that work. So it's making sure I have family and friends and people that I am in contact with, other massage therapists. I mean, no one knows your profession except for other people, and to have those people in your corner is always so important. So
yes,
lots of things. Okay. Trying to eat healthy, obviously.
What is next for you? Are you moving into anything different or trying anything new?
I don't think I will ever stop doing massage. I'm just saying that. I just love doing that. But during the pandemic, when all of that was happening, I got to thinking, okay, so what happens if something like that happens again? How can I
And you
help
can't.
people? Right. I mean, this is hands-on stuff, right? So I did do some health and life coaching classes, and I really enjoyed that as well. And again, that's another aspect, and people get confused about, okay, so what's life coaching versus counseling? And so my biggest description, I guess, of that is, and you can correct me if you think it's different, but um, I believe that counseling is helping you heal from your past woundings and your ways of having to deal with things because of the things in the past. And I believe that the life coaching part is taking you from today, because it's so crazy you don't know how to live that way. So you help with that part. How do you live today? But then I can take you, okay, well, where do you want to be in the next 10 years, 5 years, next month? Let's get you to start looking forward in what's healthy with you, for you. And so
and your own
that's
goals.
the exciting part for me. Exactly. That's the exciting part for me is being able to help people find those, find what's theirs. Because a lot of times we live for other people when we've been wounded. It's trying to satisfy everyone else. So there's a piece of that. I mean, we'll always have that because we live in community, or should. But where are your talents best used to help the people around you, or be the best person you can be around the other people in your life? So that's the exciting part.
So we actually do complement each other.
Yes. And then it's like this whole circle. In a lot of ways we do.
Okay. Is there some takeaway that you hope, our listeners get out of hearing our interview today? What would you like them to have learned from this?
Yeah, listening to your podcast, it's, all the different ways that you're helping people. This is just another opportunity, another way that, even if you don't come to me, if you help all, your husband, your wife, your kids, that physical touch is something that is so important. So obviously come to me. I would love to help, work some things out and make sure that you're on the right track. If you want to learn how to help massage your significant other, I created a class for that. It's online. You do it on your own. So I have a way that you can learn how to do it yourself. I can always do that individually as well, but I think it's so important.
How do people find that class?
You can go to my website. It's called My Hands Hurt. And there's a tab in my website that, because if you think about it, that's what I hear. I want to help my husband or wife or whatever, but 5 seconds, my hands are hurting. So I give, what's safe, what's not safe, and here's some ways that it's on my website.
What's your website?
www.ayamasagecda.com.
And then they'll find the My Hands Hurt class on there?
Yeah. There's a tab where you can go and read a little bit about it, and they can go and check it out.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah. So, and there's a way that you can get some free information just to give you a start too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to kind of wind down, but do you have like a favorite book or two that you really like to recommend to other people?
Kind of as we were talking a little bit before, the book called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. There's a lot of information and it kind of explains that. So the other one that I would also recommend is it's called Crash Course, a self-healing guide to auto accident and trauma and recovery. The authors are Diane Poole Heller, PhD, and Lawrence S. Heller, PhD. That kind of works is if you get in an accident, and this I think happens with trauma in general, but let's say you got rear-ended. You can either continue getting rear-ended or you may find yourself getting in front-end collisions because that is always in your mind. And so you are trying to keep that from happening again. So there's some ways that you can work through those issues. So that isn't stored in there for you to go forward.
Hold up. So the person's been in an accident and then they're trying to not get into another accident and somehow that distracts them, or it's kind of almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing? Or...
Kind of. So like if you've been rear-ended, you might find yourself looking in your rearview mirror a lot more. And so then you forget to watch in front of you. So you're watching behind you. It can go either way. But they've got some really good processes to go through, I think.
Nice.
To do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to also give the website. The website for Transformed Wellness Center. Transformed Wellness Center includes you're on my website because we share the same office. The Abandon Your Aches massage and the life coaching is underneath that Transformed Wellness Center.
Okay. All of it.
Umbrella. So you can find Lucretia and you can find me in both of my avenues that I like to help people. So I thought I'd
all right, and I will make sure that all of those things that you've mentioned I'll have those typed out in our show notes so that people can see them and remember. All right, can you think of anything else that we haven't said that you'd want to say before we end?
I can't think of anything. I think this has been fun.
Yeah, you covered a lot.
I hope
I wasn't
it's
expecting all of
super
that.
Helpful. I hope it's super helpful for your listeners to at least start thinking about, self-care and how important it is, and physical touch and healthy ways.
Healthy touch.
Yes, healthy physical touch. Healthy ways to take care of yourself because it's super important.
Well, thank you for spending this time with me. I didn't know how long our interview would take, but thank you for taking time out of your day and getting involved in my podcast.
I am super excited. I'm super excited that you have your podcast, and I'm excited to see this take off for you. So
hopefully, yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to end things, and I'll see you another day sometime in the office.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.